went to, for the New Year celebration. So we thought we'd tie up this. We'll go to Kolkata, attend those 2 days New Year function, and go to Delhi. So we've been traveling. And there we went down to the Kaneshwar Mandir. As soon as we go, I always go down to Mandir to do pranam to Mother. They had such miracles. There was no chance for us to get darshan because these places are massively crowded. Meaning, from here to there, that door to here will be something like 60 to 100 people. Can't count. And everybody is pushing in front. Everybody wants to go ahead. Beautiful. I kept praying to Mother. I said, Mother, I'm coming to your house. You have to make sure we see. And everything went out beautiful. Then we went to Tarakeshwar. One of the Jyotirling. One of the 12 Jyotirling. And on 15th April, which is the New Year, it was unbelievable. Almost from something like, I would say, 1.5, 2 miles before the temple, you can't walk. That kind of crowd. And they come from all over. Their New Year will go well if they can touch Baba and put little water. Now, sometimes back, a similar incident occurred. So we didn't know this. We went down, driving down. It's about 2 hours journey from Kolkata. And seeing from railway station onwards, it is so, railway station will be 4-5 kilometers. Everywhere, people. And it was pouring rain on top of that. And we didn't carry umbrellas. We said, okay, doesn't matter, we'll get wet. So Ira Meda was also there. 4 of us, we started walking. After a courageous attempt, we realized first we are getting drenched. And then this kind of people, everybody walking barefoot. Everybody's so slushy and muddy. And our right up to here got filled with mud. So I said, in Tarakeshwar, Baba Taruknath, I said, you've come to your house and you're not allowing me to see you. I can't stand in this crowd. I'm not that kind of a person, that bulldoze somehow. I said, so I'm doing darshan from here and we are going back. We had made up our mind. And I was standing with my eyes closed and praying. And suddenly Sharadama pulled my hand. So I opened my eyes and I found a tall guy, 6 feet 6 inches, huge. He said in Hindi, darshan karna hai? I said, karna to hai, lekin isme hum nahi ja sakte. Mere upar chhod. And he literally took me by hand and I held their hand in a chain. We followed him. He took us right up to there. Then he went, where they put a cage around Baba, iron cage, so that people can't go down. And it's really an unbelievable crowd. He said, you wait here. I'll make arrangements so that you can go inside. See, left us and go. And all the people coming and they're putting Ganga Pani and they carry the Ganga Pani for that 60-70 kilometers in their shoulder. That rod with the water. What faith! And they don't walk, they're running. You see them coming. And they were coming and it was Baba's here. We were standing in that iron road, safe. Iron road behind, nobody else was it. And they're coming and pouring water over us. Actually, water was falling all on us. And Ira was laughing. She said, they're putting water on us. And from there, we went and visited. When we came back to the hotel, We were not only drenched, we were filled with yellow and red, and clothes were all very nice. That gentleman was there. I told him, should I come? Because this is such a crowd. He said, I'm there, no, don't worry. And he again took us. We were wearing a socks, so that the feet will get dirty on the socks. We'll remove the socks, feet will be more or less clean, and we'll wash it. Before entering, the Pandit saw it. He said, no socks. It was great fun. And coming back, we thought today, the last Sunday we did a thorough investigation. If God is there, why can't we see? Why can't we realize? How do we define God? What is God? Who is God? Especially the youngsters, children, they always ask us in the school, is God really there? And if you'll remember us, Smarananandaji of YSS, secretary then, when he visited, you remember in a hall, what is his name? Who's Radhika's son? He was your favorite boy, dark, tall boy, Prabhuta something. What's his name? Who went to Netherlands to study?
That Madrasi.
Punished.
Madrasi fellow. Punished.
Right. This boy asked, "Sir, you're telling us about God. I don't know, you all were there, I think." He said, why can't we see God? Where is God? And this is what I have been trying to actually, people like you and me, we are believers, we are non-believers, we have faith, and at the same time, why can't we answer scientifically? And this is how I went into detail, and that's how, as usual, I got excited. It went on to 3 o'clock. By the time all of you finished with a little pesal. So we thought we will run through it in brief, so the salient points remain in our mind. And I'm very peaceful to say that we have actually found that understanding God, defining God, what is God, who is this God, and why can't we see God? And if God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, that means God is everywhere. Now we are inviting trouble. God is everywhere, meaning God is here. So where is? Show me God. God is in everything. So God is in this clock. By the way, Rajiv, have you noticed I put a clock here? So God is in the clock. Show me. Where is it? God in that. God is beyond limit. Meaning, beyond limit of that Deshakala Vastu. That means God is in this, God is in everything. How do we understand that? Otherwise, what do? It's like theistic, dualistic religion where they say God is in the heaven, God is in the sky, God is in the temple, in the church, in the mosque. So what happened? Pandits escape. Why can't I see God? You will see God. When you die. If you have been a good boy, good girl, you will see God, you will go to heaven, then you will meet God. That is very safe. If I go there and don't meet God, I cannot come back and challenge the Panditji. So we had a very nice discussion on this during this holiday. So somebody, as we were talking about this, Shadabam was saying, you cannot define God. Whereas as per Upanishad, there is definition of God. So I was trying to fathom how to that. And I found the answer. The answer is, it is true. You cannot define God. At the same time, Upanishad is giving definition of God. So what is it? It is called, when in the shloka, there is conflict of meaning. Like just how I said, God is everywhere. So God is here. Why can't I see God? God is in that. Where is God? God is this clock. God is the computer. Similarly, you cannot define God because there are six things which can be expressed by words, beyond which you cannot. So what are they? Like jati. This is given by Shankaracharya. Jati is what? Class. This is a cow. So anything that looks like this, like that, they are all cows. Or a dog. Or a human being. Rupa. It goes ahead and explains 6 classifications. Now the point is, Brahman, as per Upanishad, or God, which is Ishvara, God, does not come under any one of them. Another one says by convention. Like, let's say you have a child, you have a grandchild. You say, his name is Reeve. Whose name is Reeve? His name. But you can't point out God. Which one will you say? Will that statue? No, somebody will object. You say, come on, why not my statue? You cannot point out. It's beyond. Brahman is infinite. So how do we experience those 6? They call jati guna. Guna is like, call the chef. Who? Chef. The one, in Sanskrit they call it prachaka. Prachaka is the one who cooks. The pachaka. Here you cannot say God does this, or call the driver, park the car. How will you call the driver? Where is? You cannot call like that to God, meaning He is not limited to one activity. Sambandha, jati, guna, rupa, sambandha, like the 6 forms are there. Sambandha is, he is my father. He is guru. We are his disciple. A teacher and student. Meaning, if there is a student, there has to be a teacher. And if there is a teacher, there has to be a student. If there is a guru, there has to be a disciple. You get my point. If there is a husband, there is his wife. So there is sambandha. It doesn't. Who is the one? With God sambandha. Now we have created Radha, Krishna, and Shiva, Parvati, and like that. Those are our dualistic religion creation. So it is a very nice statement. So God cannot be done like that. So we will go ahead and just run through it in the next 20-30 minutes, so that these points, you all being a very senior in this field, you will face the same question. So you are enriched now, and these are all supported by our ancient Shastra. We can quote them. We can say, see, here it says so. So, what is it? Does God exist? What is God? Who's God? So it's going ahead in the Taittiriya Upanishad. It talks about, in very brief, it is chapter 2, not chapter 1, chapter 2. There is something called Brahmananda Valli. And Shankaracharya has held on to that. And that says very beautiful. He says, Brahma Vedapanati Pranam. Brahma Vedapanati Pranam. One who understands Brahma. Brahma is Brahman. Another name of Brahman. Brahma is short. It's not Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. It's Brahma. Because Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara fall under dualistic religion. So as per in the Advaita, we will also understand what is Advaita. So in brief, he's saying the knower of Brahman, Brahma, Vedapanati, Param, meaning those who understand Brahman, Brahma, is achiever of everything in the universe. You have to just understand, No meaning here, understand. If you understand, this is what is our purpose. You will attain everything. Sarvam Kama. Whatever you can think about, your desires and wishes, it's already there. So naturally you will say, okay, let me have some Brahman. It's very good idea to have some Brahman. It's like Reserve Bank check. You have authority to sign now. You can sign any amount check. So, going in for you're saying knowing the highest is Brahman. And you will attain the highest. What does it mean by attain the highest? What is that? Like you tell the children, if you do this, you will get that. They will say, where is it? Show me first. Then I will work for it. Like that. So we have to say, highest what? What is highest? Is the Panditji, you will get everything. And we say, Hanji. No. We are now talking about with the intellectual scientists, learned people. They will say, all right, you're saying highest. What is that highest? So we'll quickly run to them. And he goes on to say, Sarvam Kama Brahmanas Vipaschate. Everything. Now, what is the definition? Taittiriya Upanishad 2.4 goes ahead and says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Satyam, Sat, existence. Now, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman is the definition as per Taittiriya. What is it defining? It's supposed to be Brahman, God. We just now talked about you cannot define because it is not limited by word. So how is it? This is called that you have to take the applied meaning. The Upanishad is very intelligent. Our great Rishi, they saw everything. And they have made it simple for us. Only thing what has happened because of the Western influence, we learn Shakespeare and Shelley and Keats and we forget totally about our rich heritage. I am divinely blessed to say that we got interested a little bit, so we could understand a little bit. And it is very simple. I can see originally I used to think, we, in our school, we say, IB coupled with Vedanta. This is what Vivekananda has written down. He's saying education should be to create good human beings. We were told what? If you don't study, don't get a degree, don't get first division, you will not get admission. IIT and doctor and engineering. So you have to score high marks. Then you will get admission. And when you get admission, you'll become a doctor engineer. Why? Because you will earn money. So in other words, learning in the school was for earning money. So when I read Vivekananda says learning is not for earning money. Learning is to become a good human being. All right. How do we become good human beings? He says what we want are Western science. The first, best of the Western education technology should be part of the education. And then he goes on to say, coupled with Vedanta and Brahmacharya. What is Brahmacharya? Don't abstain from purity. We tell lies in purity. After this, briefly I'll cover. Yesterday was also the Good Friday. New Year Day, Vaisakhi, Good Friday, Bengali Navabarsha, Punjab, the whole of India was celebrating and Good Friday. So I thought Good Friday is the day when the Jesus Christ, he was chopped off, crucified, and he resurrected himself. That's why it is called Good Day, that he resurrected, he showed. So we'll cover briefly on that. So here it says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Satyam, Sat is truth. What is truth? Truth is what exists. Existence. This clock is true. Why? I can see it, it exists. Elephant is not true. Why? It is not there. So because elephant is not there, it is not true. To truth. And here he's talking about truth is what we say is real. Let's face the world. Let's be practical. My younger brother, I told him, come and join us for lunch. Now he's very particular. He doesn't like accepting any gift from anything, anyone. He's a pure, like a monk. He's not a monk. He's married, he's got kids, but he lives like that. Very simple. So I said, listen, I'm not the one who's spending. It's the Divine Mother who is spending it through me. For you, you're the devotee. Long time ago, you all had seen my aunt who was living here, about 90 plus years. She's still going very strong, beautiful. We went and saw her. Sharada and her, they're like that. Long time back, I got a message to send her a little bit of money. She never asks. And she's got her own house and things like that. I sent her a little bit of money. She gets very furious. How dare you send me money? Why did you send me money? Did I ask for it? I immediately got a very nice message from mother. I said, tell me something, Chota Mausi, okay. Tell me, be honest. Did you ask from God for money? Then she kept quiet. She said, yes, I asked because I had to do the painting. So I said, why are you cursing me? I have done what God has, through me giving it to you. Thereafter, she never says no to whatever Sharada takes across. She says, okay. I know. Yes, it was there. Man mein kamana tha. So like that, I told my brother, listen, I'm not doing it. In Paramahansa Ramakrishna is to sing this song. You do your work, Divine Mother, and people say we are doing it. People will say, I give the money. Who am I? This body, I, and the name and the form is going to go. So it is the mother who spoke through you and sang through you. We did the thing, no? I did it. By the way, we finished writing that book. Its second edit is finished. Another, I think by next Sunday, I should be able to give you a copy. The name of that is, can you show one copy? Name of that is, if God really exists, why do we suffer? This question during the COVID-19, you remember Toton who used to come? Now, Toton's mother, Sharada was very fond of Toton. Toton was very fond of Sharada. He'll come down and say, make me that food, and she loves to cook. He used to come down, Raja and Toton used to come together. So this is how it looks. And it is on after second edit. There is still a little bit of work. I'll show it to you after this. So I told him, listen, I'm nobody. Your Thakur says no. He's a devotee of Paramahansa Ramakrishna. That whatever happens, it is the mother who does it. He said something. He said, yes, of course, mother is doing it through all of us, but let's be practical. After all, you're spending, no? I said, see, that is where the difference between dualistic and non-dual. We are doing it, yes. We are the instrument in it. You are nobody. And if you think I am the doer, then I am a monkey. So we're going on to their existence. Sat. Chit is, how are we experiencing the world? Existence, they go ahead and explain. Like I had talked to you all in very brief, a hot potato. We love to eat hot potato. I love to eat. Often Sharada and I used to do this baking, and where is the heat coming to the potato from? It's not truth. It's called borrowed quality. Borrowed, anything borrowed is not true. It borrows heat from the water. Water borrows the heat from the fire. Fire gives the heat through the pan. So it's borrowed, but the fire has got intrinsic heat. Similarly, this existence, what Vedanta is saying, don't look at it as this exists. We say generally, I am here, clock is here, computer is here, elephant is not here. We say like that. But he said, don't look at it that way. Take the implied meaning. Take an ocean of existence. This is where the trick comes. It's an understanding. Ocean of existence. Ocean of water in which there are waves. In which there are ocean, the rivers or the rain or a glass. Now see, water can exist in the glass for drinking or in the puddle on the road, dirty water, or in the ocean or the river or in the waterfall. Water can choose to exist anywhere. Now when you look at existence, like that water, which is chosen to be waves. We are all waves as per Vedanta. Your Vijay wave, Tapliyal wave, me, Robin Ghosh wave. Separate waves, separate name. The moment we go to Nama Rupa Bhavahara, name, form and function, we are separate. He said, don't look at it separate. You look at water has become the wave. Existence has become this, or you, or me, or this computer, or anything you can think of. It's the existence which has become. Now when you look at it that way, he said, we are not used to it. We say, yeah, I know it is there. This is how we talk. He said, no. You look at it, what do you say? Clock is there. He said, look at the isness. This is Vedanta's language. Imagine 6,000 years ago, Vijay, they thought about this. Just think, isness, existence, where is it? Tell me anywhere in the universe where there is no isness, even empty space. Empty space is also is. It is existing as in what? As an empty space. You know, we say there was nothing over here and now buildings have come up. Lots of buildings. The question is, this was an empty space. The building has come up and filled it up. This is how we understand. Vedanta is saying no. The space is not gone. Space has allowed the building to be there. Space is still there. Space is not gone. Now this understanding is, once you 2-3 times when you talk and think about it, it becomes very easy to understand. So what is it? Existence. Imagine it like water, in which there are waves, in which there are objects with different name, form and function. Can you experience existence? Very important point. Vedanta say you cannot experience existence. To experience existence, you need names and objects and forms. See, it sounds tricky. I cannot experience this clock unless it has got a name, unless it is actually existing here. I cannot call that elephant in this room. It is not existing. Now, it gets very simple. Great fun after that. So, what is this Brahman? Brahman. We say God, no? Brahman in Sanskrit means what expands. Whatever it can carry on expanding without limit. It can carry on expanding and it is carrying. You all have heard about universe is expanding. That universe, scientists are saying now. Ancient scientists in India, rishis had said it is so. What is Brahman is vast in English. Not vast ocean, not vast sky, not vast land or vast water. The moment you say land, vast America, vast India, there is an end. There is Nepal, there is West Bengal, there is East Bengal, there is ocean, there is Sri Lanka. America goes to Mexico and Canada and like that. So no name, just vast. In the English understanding of that. And that vast has no limit. So Brahman is without limit. Now the Brahman is Sat, existent, and Chit. How are you understanding? You are understanding by hearing it, by seeing me, I'm talking. How? If you look carefully, we have to be conscious to do that. To very understand this, going into the God's explanation. You see, Sat is existent, imagine everything is existing. Chit is consciousness. Unless you and I are conscious, I'm in deep sleep, or I'm in coma, or I am unconscious, I cannot see the world. The world vanishes for me. So I am seeing the world through my consciousness. When I'm conscious, the eyes pick up something, comes into my eye, I say, this is the rose. How? Rose is not entering my eye, but the light falls on it. Light makes me see the eye, goes into the brain and the mind and says, this is the rose. Like that. So it's saying that Sat, Chit, Anantam. Anantam is the create little trouble for most people. Actually, it is very simple. Anantam is no limit. To understand what is no limit, the ancient rishis have first explained what is limit. Limit at 3. One is space. I'm limited in space. I cannot be where Vijay, where you are, where Mam is. I'm limited. I cannot be in America as well as here. We have what? Space limit. Anything in this universe, name it, you will see it is limited by space. Now, imagine, supposing we have something, as per Upanishad, we have something which has got no limit of space. What does it mean? We are getting into trouble, but what it means, it is everywhere. Omnipotent. Omnipresence. Now, so Antam, explaining Antam, which will tell us Anantam. The Antam is first space, second is time. See, all of us are born and we will die. So before birth, we were not there. And after dying, our body will not be there. So as what we understand, anything has got Antam. This clock, after some time, that glass. So rishis go ahead and explain even further. Shankaracharya has done it. There is a beautiful book called Karika, like Mandaka, Karika. So in Karika, he is explaining, supposing this glass, he's taken a glass. See, glass, supposing it is broken. You say, glass doesn't exist. Shankaracharya said, no. Broken glass exists. It is now changed into a broken glass. He said, okay, I'll pound it into powder. He said, powdered glass exists. You say, okay, Kundak Baji, you say, okay, I'm going to destroy everything in this universe. Nothing is there. Then where is the existence? He said, why? Existence is there. Now it needs a name, form, and a function to express itself. So beautifully, see, existence is there. What is this name, form, and function? This is what you and I keep saying, Maya, Divine Mother. The Mother comes in the form of name, form, and function to make us realize money and property and people and relationships. So understanding it this way, and comes that Antam. Space, time. In the graveyard, what is written? 1910 to 2000. This 90 years this guy lived, but there was a beginning, there's the end, after that it is not there. What if there is something which is beyond time, beyond Kala? As per Upanishad it is. That is meaning there is no time where it is not there. There is no birth and no death. It is always there. That is what he is saying is going beyond Kala, not limited by time, not limited by space, not limited by time. And then it goes on to say Vastu, object. Just think, so simple actually. This computer is limited by being an object. Computer cannot be this clock. Clock cannot be you or me. All of us. I cannot be anybody else. We are all limited by object, being an object. I'm a human being and an adult male. I cannot be adult female also at the same time. Object limitation. But if there is something which is beyond the object limitation, what does it mean? Look at it carefully. How smartly Upanishad is explaining. What it means is, there is no object is limiting now. That means what? It is in every object. And this is what we say, God is everywhere, God is in everything. God is here, God is in me, God is in you. And we say, yeah. And when Pandits and all say, when we ask, generally most of the Pandits will not have gone through. So they say, मान लो बातें, किताब में लिखा है, Guru ने बताया. No, for the modern men and women, when we are bringing it, we should be able to tell them that, look, this is how it is so. So going into, that means no limit in space, no limits in time. Now, how do we do that? There is a, the moment you say cut in space, in Sanskrit, I'm just giving you the name. It's a nice name. I've understood it lately. It says Desha Paricheda. Cheda is cut in Sanskrit. So Desha cuts everything, space. But when God is gone beyond Desh Paricheda, it says Desha Paricheda Shunyam. It doesn't limit God. Similarly goes into Kala Paricheda Shunyam and Vastu Paricheda Shunyam. God is beyond. Brahman is beyond all that. Now, as I said in the beginning, I'm inviting trouble. You as a young man, young woman say, okay, that means as per you now, tell me, God is here right now. God is in this, God is in that. How do you show me God now? Show me. So I do it two ways. One is, first, we do the scientific explanation. So like we say, look, if you look at existence, not the object, but the object is existing. In other words, existence has become the object. Water has become the wave. Existence, look at anything. What is existence? Is God. And where is existence? Everywhere. Take any place, anything. The moment you say, argumentatively, let me think about something which is not has existence. The moment we say that, it means what? Opposite of existence is not existing. Elephant is not existing. Got my point? So Rishi, this is called Nyaya Shastra. They went into this deep, very simple logic. And Buddha Dev, when he came about 2,400, 500 years ago, they started attacking Hinduism. Because Buddhism doesn't believe in God. So he said, you are saying God is there. And they came up, these points. And they were very nicely shot down by Shankaracharya. And because it got shot down, Hinduism continued to flourish. Now, going ahead, Satyam Jnanam. Sat is existing. Jnanam. What is Jnanam? Is that Chit, consciousness, Jnanam. You say Jnanam, knowledge. God is knowledge. So where is this knowledge? Knowledge has got an end. Knowledge is, let's say, what Rajiv knows, I don't know. What Guru knows, student doesn't know. What teacher knows, student doesn't know. Not only that, I had studied something. I remember at that time. Let's say Charles' law, Boyle's law, Faraday's law. We have forgotten. So knowledge is, how can you say knowledge is eternal? How can you say God is in knowledge? God has to be there. Then that time and object and space, and right now Knowledge should be all the time. I should know everything what God knows, but the computer knows. So it goes ahead and explains. See, you are seeing, hearing, knowing how? By consciousness. If you're not conscious, you cannot see, hear, learn anything. So you have to be conscious. Consciousness is infinite. What happens when we die? Question comes in. My consciousness is gone. How can you say? No, beautiful explanation. When we die, what happens? This body dies. Body will be burned, body will be cremated. Body goes. Depending on our faith and belief and all that. Body is gone. What happens to, we have a Thula Sharira. This is the body. We have a Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira. You all have seen me talking about it. Annamaya Kosha. What we eat is what we are. Pranamaya Kosha. Breath. Anandamaya Kosha. Jnanamaya Kosha. Manamaya Kosha. So, Pranamaya. First is Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manamaya, Jnanamaya, and then Anandamaya. These koshas form a little bubble when I die. So if I put that Robin Bush bubble, it is Robin Bush bubble. It will carry all my karma, and the bliss is not the memory. So when you're reborn, as per Vedanta, you don't remember. Last year, she was my wife. Imagine the trouble. There's a guy, he's saying, imagine, he was talking about it in America. He said, imagine tomorrow in the Beverly Hill in Hollywood, and he was talking in Hollywood only. He's a Vedantist teacher. He said, imagine tomorrow your house is in Beverly Hill and somebody knocks on the door and you open the door and he says, do you remember I was your husband? Imagine the fuck, they'll be kicked out from there. That is why God has given you no memory. But you carry your karma. Whatever you have sowed, you're going to reap. Good, 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 good. Bad, 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 bad. So we are all mixture of good and bad karma. Some are good, some are bad. Our journey is what? Continue to do good and erase the bad one. That's what we are doing here. Erase the bad one. And you will see it. Beautiful transformation is taking place in everyone. We are becoming. Now, that Sukshma Sharira goes and out. Body is burned. But what about consciousness? Consciousness is like that infinite, everywhere. Space was there. Building has come up. Space is still there. Building is demolished. Space is still there. Body is gone. Consciousness is still there. Existence is still there. Understanding now? Now this is something a little tricky because Upanishad goes ahead and says you cannot experience consciousness. The moment you experience it, you limit it. And it is infinite. The moment you experience existence, you limit it by name, form, and function. So, existence and consciousness is always there. And the moment you understand that, Sarva Kama, you attain everything, which is called Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. This is the meaning of Sat, Chit. Sat is existent. Sat is Satya. We say truth. What is truth? Truth is what is existing. Chit is the consciousness. Is what is always there. Sat and Chit. That means God is two. Existence and consciousness. No. They are absolutely one with two different work. The same. Sat, existence, and Chit, consciousness. They are not different. They are one. And this is what it, the moment you now bring down everything, the dual is separate being. Non-dual is one. The moment we come to one dual, this is no second. No second is Advaitam. And that's what we are studying. I'm very glad Then I understood a little bit. It's great fun when you start to go on it. So now what happened? Brahman is eternal. Brahman is beyond time. Brahman is beyond space, beyond object. In other words, it is in every object, in everything, every place. Now you say, show me God here. Existing is clock. Existence is God. The God is clock now. Over here, you say, no, consciousness is there in you and me. We are inanimate, animate objects. We have plant, trees, life, all of us have life. So, you're saying God is there. So God is in everything. That means God is in this table also. The beautiful thing is, yes, God is there as per Upanishad. Upanishad says, but consciousness is not there in that. Meaning, it doesn't have a sukshma sharira, the table, a mountain. Plants have sukshma sharira. Tiniest of the worm, which is moving, which can be experienced, that has got sukshma sharira. This is how Vedanta goes there and explains. So, understand now, God is not only, that Brahman is not only non-dual, only one. God is also that vast, ekam. It says, Advaitam ekam. Both are one, not two and one. That's only one. So this is how Vedanta goes ahead and tells it. And says Sarva Vyapi Anityam Advaitam. This is how the definition. Now, very simple, there is nothing apart from this definition of God. Because everything has to exist, everything has to be by us seen, touched, understood, experienced. So the moment you say, show me God in this glass, you say, existence is glass. You are experiencing through your consciousness. So both are actually nothing else but the God, which is there. Some people will try to ask some question. This is what Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, you remember the demon king who won against Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, not Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva. And he hated Vishnu. He wanted to win against Vishnu. And he had Prahlad as his son. Prahlad was a devotee of Vishnu, 10-year-old boy. One day, father is having a big fight with him. You say, Vishnu, your God is everywhere? He said, yes. He said, is God in this pillar? He said, yes. So, he with his mace, remember that big thing, and with his leg, he kicks it and hits it, and the breaks open. And he had taken boons from Brahma and Shiva, that no life form can kill me, no nature thing can kill me. I cannot be killed on earth or in the sky or in the water, like that. So he became invincible. So Vishnu took the form, as the story goes, Narasimha avatar, came as a half man, half lion, and put him on the knee. Knee part of it he forgotten to cover. It's neither air nor water nor land. And he tore open his chest, no weapon, with his own hand. And that's how. So here, the moment this story was being enacted by Girish Ghosh, Girish Ghosh became a great devotee of Paramahansa Ramakrishna. And Girish Ghosh was famous for drinking. There was nothing in this world that he was not doing. He was doing everything. One day, Girish Ghosh is one of the very good friend, another drunkard like that. They both come late at night and ask Paramahansa Ramakrishna, do you have anything to drink? Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, yes, I am. But if I give it to you, you will stop drinking all this. So that man says, Why? Bilaiti hai kya? Is it English? That I will forget everything. So Paramahansa Ramakrishna didn't say anything. And his wife used to come and say, please help me, please help me. And Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, listen, I don't do all this. You go to mother. And mother used to say, I don't do all this. You go to him. The poor girl is to shuttle up and down. Why? Saying that drunkard, Girish was his second friend. He used to trouble her a lot. So one day, mother said, all right, you take this flower, keep it in your anchal, and just see, you'll be protected. And this is how she was being protected all the time. And then this gentleman comes once and comes. Paramahansa Ramakrishna was leaving for Kolkata by a horse's cart. He comes and says, you have to come with me in my, they were quite rich, in my boat, a huge boat, nicely decorated. So Paramahansa Ramakrishna very innocently said, okay, instead of a chariot, I'll go by boat. He takes the boat. Kalipada Ghosh, this is also Ghosh, his name is Kalipada. Kalipada Ghosh takes him, take the boat in the center of the river Ganga and tells the boatman to stop. Ramakrishna Paramahansa says, what are you doing? He says, unless you initiate me and you bless me, that I live up all this, I will not let this boat go. Imagine. Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, listen, towards getting initiated, you have to do something. He said, no, unless you do it right now. The poor Paramahansa Ramakrishna, he said, okay, I'll give you. He gives it. He said, not enough. I'm not feeling it. You've given me a name, I have to chant it, but I'm not feeling it. You give me something when this habit of drinking and womanizing, all this will vanish. The Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, okay, touches him. And Paramahansa Ramakrishna, as it is said, he took all the bad work of Girish Ghosh and Kalipada Ghosh and took the cancer. He took it in the form of a cancer for himself. He said, okay, let them be liberated. My body is okay. He left at the age of 51. Kalipada still didn't let him. He said, no, you first tell me, when I die, you will come to take me to heaven. This is the last thing. Now poor Thakur, he said, okay, I'll come. And it is said, when he died, way after Paramahansa Ramakrishna left his body, as he was dying, he told everybody, put some Ganga Pani around, Thakur is going to come. And actually, he got up from his dying bed, he got up half and he said, Thakur, you have come, take me. And he extended his hand like that. So these things sounds like great story, but lots of people, I saw in ma'am, when she left her body, that time, I don't know, Vijay, if you saw, actually in picture you see, the face suddenly as if not there. I would say 15-20% of the face was there. Taplel Sahib was right next to me, Sharada was there. And glowing, powerful light is coming out and there was a smile in her face. Eyes. Do you recollect? I never forgotten that. This is seeing that all that she was doing, it all came out. So now, getting on with it. So, God is indeed, if you call God, if you call Ishvara, if you call Brahman, call it by any name, is in everything, is in everywhere in this universe, in every entity. So now when I worship Shiva, Ling, or Krishna, or Vishnu, or Parvati, or Mother Kali, so where is this so-called Advaita God? And Dvaita, here with Babaji, we are doing worship. The moment we come in here, we feel so good. Why? Because we automatically feel that presence. But it is Anantam and Advaitam. That is also true. This is also true. So somebody asked Ravana Maharshi, two things happened. He said, I don't understand all this Advaita and all. I understand Vishnu. Can I worship Vishnu? He said, yes. He said, when I die, will Vishnu see me? He said, yes. He will see me. He said, yeah. Really? He said, yeah. What will he say to me? He said, he will ask you, find out who am I. Who am I is the Advaita, no? Who am I? Advaita. And the second thing, he said, there is a very powerful story. Many people do this acting of purity. All the time doing puja, agarbatti, and big tilak and all over, and then going and doing wrong things. These are called flashing. Many people sit down for meditation and then they'll have, as if they're in joy, ananda, they're smiling. They put on acting. So this parading the goodness or feeling must not be there. If it is, then that becomes fraud. That is not correct. Many people are doing this. So Vedanta is saying, understanding this, look all around you. What do you think is real? Anything. This body is real, objects are real, mountain is real, dog is real, my family is real, my property is real, my money is real. We think all of them. So you say, he's going ahead and saying, just look at it, and that is Satya, truth, meaning it exists. So now, we have gone over that self-contradictory feelings of, show me where is God. Let's get on with anything which you say, let me find out something which is not existing, or it is but existence, it is beyond existence. The moment you say something which is beyond existence, it means not existent. It is not there. Is not there. So there is nothing in this universe which is beyond Brahman, which is the definition of Ishvara. Does it make some sense? I found it was very beautiful. So now comes that knowledge we already covered. Knowledge also has limitation. But the moment you look at consciousness with which you get the knowledge, that has got no limitation. So this is called the implied meaning. And implied meaning of God cannot be defined. Implied meaning of the word. You cannot describe it by word, but you can feel. You can anubhav. They say anubhav. Experience. Understand and experience. Experience, if I may touch upon, notice I'm experiencing this clock. So experience does have to have consciousness and an object. If I'm not conscious, I cannot experience it. And if the object is not there, I cannot experience it. Got it? I didn't experience time last Sunday because the clock was not in front of me. Okay, I'm not blaming anything. Now, this beautiful Upanishad going ahead and saying, our unhappiness comes from limitation. Why do we suffer? Because we limit ourselves with this name, body, and form. The moment you limit yourself as a wave in the ocean, you isolated yourself from the rest of the ocean. But imagine a calm ocean. All the waves have merged. Now, where is that Robin Bush wave? It's gone. And that is what it means is nirvana. You suddenly realize, and as Paramahamsa, as Buddha, as Jesus Christ, you got a form. But you realize this form is not real. You realize, I am the water. You're still in the ocean. You're still at the wave. You're still, Buddha continued to live his life till 82 years of age after attaining. And what did he attain? He was asked, who are you? Are you God? He smiled. Are you an angel? He shook his head. He said, are you a monk? He shook his head. What are you? He said, I am the awakened one. I have, and notice what is Vivekananda saying, Uttishtata Jagrata. Arise and wake up. And all we have to do is that. That then is that becomes infinite joy, is beyond unhappiness. You cannot be unhappy now. So they got, imagine cancer. Imagine Jesus Christ, neck is chopped off. But they still say, God, please forgive them. They do not know what they're doing. No, just reflect upon it. So much of. So this is what we practice in our meditation. Asanga aham. Asanga aham. You are actually trying to feel that I am limited by this body, but that is not me. Yes, that body belongs to me, just like this clock, my mobile, my car, my bank account. Everything belongs to me. I say this is my car. But I know the car or this body is like an apps that you're utilizing it today. So the moment you do that, you go to Anantam, bliss. And that bliss is beyond unhappiness. So even though they were limited by the body, but they went transcended the body. And that's what is our journey. When, let's say, Vijay says quite often, he says, I am always in joy. That's a great achievement, meaning you don't let those samsara unhappinesses to bug you. You take it. You say, it's all right. It's okay. And soon you will see there is no difference between that person and me, because we are all made of same water, same consciousness, same existence. We are not separate. We have an appearance of a separatedness. Why? Because of the name, body, and the form and the function. So that is where it says, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman. That I am is not this body. That consciousness, that existence which is within me, or which is me. And me is not this body. And this is what it means by who am I? And going ahead. A Sufi poet says, I was trying to search for God. I found myself. I went in search for myself and I found God. You know, in Ashtavakra, it talks about infinite ocean. I am the infinite ocean in which all these waves, Ascharya Jivaya, Vichara, they are existing in that infinite ocean in which various, and they are khelanti, they're playing, they're fighting, and then they dissolve into me again. And who is that me? It's this. Who is this see? You, me, all of us is that me. Only thing, we are now limited by the body and the name and the form, and that's why we don't experience it. So we have to go beyond that while maintaining the body and the form. It doesn't mean stop, or it doesn't mean run away to Himalaya. It means play the role what you're doing with purity, with truth. And so we all, in our heart of hearts, in our Chaitana, we are that. Know that. Asanga aham. That's the truth. Yes, we are highly deviated because of our... have you realized these senses that we have and we perceive the world? Have you ever thought of it? I was just reflecting. The senses are all going out. It never comes in. I see something. Where? Not inside. I see outside. I hear something. Where? There. So there's a beautiful example. I got it. I was sharing in Calcutta. You look at an egg. Egg can have external force applied. If the external force is applied on egg breaks. Life is killed. Yeah? External force, when it comes in, life dies. Internal force, when it comes in from the same egg, inwards, when it comes in, life is born. A chick is born. Chick breaks it from inside, no? It's a beautiful thing. So when that force comes from within us, then it's the time you say, Chidananda Rupoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am that Shiva. I am that Chidananda. So what you and I have to do during our meditation and practices, we need to practice this. Abhyasa yoga. Keep on practicing. So there is this guy who wanted to, in meditation, experience God. So Guru told him various things. He said, I'm not understanding. He said, okay, what do you understand? He was a shepherd. He said, what do you love most? He said, this ram, the huge ram, always with me. And they live in the mountain. He said, this ram is my favorite. He said, okay, just think you are that ram and meditate on it. He was meditating. Guru went away, came back after 1 year, said, how are you doing? He said, I see inside this ram. And he said, he didn't know what is Vishnu and all. He said, I see somebody with 4 hands and chakra and gada and padma. So he said, you continue to meditate on that. Next time when came back, Guru, after a year or so, is to go up in the mountain, come down. Shepherds are there. He said, how are you feeling? He said, sir, I'm stuck in this room. He said, why? I can't go out with the sheep anymore. He said, why? Sir, my horns have grown so much, I can't come out of the room. Meaning, he has become the sheep. And sheep's horn is huge. So he said, now I cannot come out of this. The horn has grown and grown and grown. So please take off my horn so that I can go with the sheep. He said, now you have attained that oneness. So this is what it practice called Abhyasa Yoga. We are that. So here is saying, whether we accept it or not, beautiful statement in Vedanta, whether we accept it or not, whether we believe it or not, whether we understand it or not. So what is it? Whether we accept it or not, whether we believe it or not, whether we understand it or not, it's Tum Hi Ram. It's beautiful. So with that, we will finish this. This is a beautiful song which was on the Good Friday sung. It goes as, so thou art my Lord. The Christianity singing in the church, thou art my Lord, you are my Lord. I love the wording. So I thought I'll share with you all. You all love God so much that you're spending your time, instead of watching cricket match, you're coming down here and sitting down. So it's something beautiful. He said, how could that love between you and me severe? How can it be cut? That love between you and me, it cannot be cut. It says, as the leaf of the lotus resides in water. This is Vijay's language. How can the leaf of the lotus be severed from water? He keeps sending poems like this, in the site. He's saying, as the night, and there is a bird called chakor. In the full moon night, the chakor whole night looks at the moon and keeps on singing. It's a very famous poetic expression. Many poets, especially Kabir, used to talk a lot. Like that moon's to the chakor connection, it's like my connection. How can it be lost? He said, that love between you and me, how can it go? As the river enters the ocean, river come all the way, enters the ocean, and my heart touches you, how can that be severed? How could the love between you and me ever end? It goes on to say, from the beginning until the end of time, there is love between you and me. How should such love can ever be extinguished? I am your servant, you're my Lord. In the Christianity, they're singing it like that. Beautiful. He says, a song goes on like that. There's a beautiful song Tagore has written in Bengali, and which goes on to say something like the similar that Tagore had written, on which this song possibly has been built. Tagore is saying, as I am reaching the end of my time, let me not forget, bless me that I should not forget. I should have that pang, the pain in my heart that I have not yet seen you. I have acquired a lot of wealth, the riches, the family, the people. I have decorated my house with many things. Let me not forget that I have forgotten to invite you to my house. It's so beautifully Tagore's writing this. It goes on like that. Here, Sister Teresa, I don't know if you've heard the name. Paramahansa Yogananda, an autobiography of Yogi, has written about Sister Teresa. He had met Sister Teresa. Sister Teresa was asked in one of her vision. She saw the vision, a tall, flowing robe, white hair. And Sister Teresa was looking at him surprised. He asked Sister Teresa, who are you? Sister Teresa said, I am Teresa of Jesus. I am Teresa of Jesus. And then she asked him, who are you? He said, I am Jesus of Teresa. This is the love they're talking about. How can it be broken? It cannot break. It is we forget about. That love is always there. And if we remember it through our practices and sadhana, then that is the time when you are reaching. Now here, Jesus Christ took his best disciples, 12 of them, into the Sermon on the Mount, onto the mountain. That picture, I put it here. This is how the lecture was given. I put it here with one applicable to this. If God really exists, then why do we suffer? So here he's touched upon it. He says, blessed are those who mourn. In a mourning, we mourn for somebody died. Blessed are those who mourn, for kingdom of heaven is there. What does it mean? Sounds confusing. He's saying, we mourn, we cry, bucket full of tears for money, for loss of court case, for losing a beloved one, or somebody dying in the family. We cry and cry and cry. Jesus is saying, when will you cry for God? We don't cry for God, we cry for everything else. And here, we fight with God. Why haven't you given me this? Why haven't you given me that? But we don't cry. Paramahansa Ramakrishna is telling that we shed buckets of tears for everything, but why don't you shed one drop of tear for God? That one drop will be enough, if you can really. There is a statement that when listening to bhajan, songs of godly things, or listening to a pravachan, talk, or being in a temple or a church or a mosque, if you feel like crying, know you're very close to God. You're just about to witness. This you will find there are sometimes it happens to people like all of us, you and me. How can that love be forgotten? You know, Paramahansa Ramakrishna had gone to see with Girish Ghosh this Prahlada Narasimha Avatar play. Those days, Bengal was the one who was originated in Maharashtra and also started this play. The Paramahansa Ramakrishna, as he was seeing, he started crying. The people say, because they say, like many other avatars, they are God and come to redeem the mankind from the suffering. So he said, he remembered maybe thousands of years ago that Prahlad was ready to sacrifice himself for me. And that's why he was crying. That is, Paramahansa Ramakrishna crying, seeing that play. This is how they are going in and explaining. So, question is here, Sufi poet is saying, even when I'm dead and gone, the very grass on my grave which quivers in the wind, the grass on my grave which in the wind, that sweeps through the cold graveyard, very grass on my grave quivers with the love for you. Though my body is underneath, body is gone, but my love is so intense by the grass on top of my will quiver for you. So, going in and saying, human beings, we remember those people and people who fade away, but we forget to remember that presence of the God with us. Now here, in the Sermon on the Mount, that was one sermon. Blessed are those who mourn, for kingdom of heaven is there. That is, kingdom of heaven within them. Those who mourn for God. The best one which I find, which appeals to me, he said, blessed are those who are pure in heart, for they shall see God. So somebody asked, can I see that Pranavananda? Somebody asked, how do you know you're pure in heart? Very good question. The Swami Pranavananda answered it very well. I'll show you his book. He says, when you sit down for meditation, when you're focusing on God, while focusing for God, If your mind goes off to another thought, good thought or bad thought, any thought, if it goes away, know you're impure in your heart. Very simple. You know, Rani Rashmani, who invited Paramahansa Ramakrishna to do the puja, his elder brother and then him, to do the Kali Mata puja of this huge place. Have you all been there? No? You should go sometime. It's a beautiful feeling. But of course, you have to imagine a lot of that feeling. This is the Sermon on the Mount by Swami Pranavananda. He is writing Sermon on the Mount as per Advaita Vedanta. So we are reading this because of the connection of Advaita Vedanta, that how each one of these sermons are actually there in Vedanta and how they're connected. Very small book, but very powerful. He said, those who are pure in heart, so you seek blessings from God to bless you with purity, to bless you with shraddha, respect, that I know what I'm reading is true, and then it is going to happen to me. Ask, give me consciousness, Chaitana, so that I know when you are with me. Otherwise, God is everywhere, God is in everything, God is in with us, but we have forgotten. We think I'm the body and the senses and the pleasures and the money. So then he goes on to say, next one. I'll just tell you, blessed are the poor in heart, for there is the kingdom of heaven. This poor in heart is the humbleness. If I'm very humble to everything, whereas, and the best is, he goes ahead and say, blessed are those who are meek. Just imagine, our journey is what? Our journey is, you are the one who stop being a meek. No, you have to go and fight for your money. You have to establish your right over everybody else. And Jesus Christ is saying, blessed are those who are meek, for they shall inherit the whole earth. Meaning you will become the richest man in the world. Meaning it's so beautifully explained. Sometimes when you get time, have a look at it. Today, I thought I'll give you a glimpse of this, of the Sermon on the Mount. The entire Bible, whatever is there, can be condensed into this. And you know what is the purpose of the Sermon on the Mount? If you ask, there is by the way, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he's talked about, he's saying, Krishna, amanittam adamityam. And this amanittam adamityam is exactly like what Jesus Christ is saying. Same thing Krishna has also said in Bhagavad Gita. Here, the Hanscom is a Christian theologian. He was the guru, teacher of the first pope. He says, Hanscom says, that as he is taught and Pope has understood that what is this Sermon on the Mount for? It is meant for only those few who will become Pope's apostles, not for everybody. Tolstoy says this on this such comment. Tolstoy says that it is to establish kingdom of heaven on earth. Meaning that kind of a power he is giving. If we people understand this Sermon on the Mount, kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Have you realized Krishna will never get angry if you follow Jesus? And Jesus Christ is not going to get angry if you follow and fall in love with Shiva or Allah. They all are not they all know everything is one. So we often talk about it. People call it Jal, Pani, Tanni, water, you in French. Everything is one thing, water. So here, the purpose of the mount, like Tolstoy says, it will bring heaven on earth. The Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta says that Sermon on the Mount is to realize God. Through Christianity also you can realize, through understanding, whether you're Christian or non-Christian. He is, in his book, he's writing, I'm not a Christian, but I have studied with the same intensity with which I have studied Bhagavad Gita. This, and he is writing this, either to understand it the way Advaita Vedanta talks. Jai Guru.